Mr. Rogers, Dolly Parton. These are all people who I'm sure might have a hater or two, but in general are well-liked. You can be popular and well-liked. If you're constantly dealing with haters, you have to ask yourself why that is. Hey everyone, and welcome to Nicole Reacts, where I, Nicole, react to online marketing guru trainings that I find on the internet. My qualifications for Snark are that I've owned a marketing company for the last 14 years. In addition to that, I've had a small business or two in that time. So I've seen marketing both on the client side of things as well as the agency owner side of things. So today's person, full disclosure, I never heard of him until yesterday, Jeff Lerner. Now, obviously, there are infinite marketing gurus out there. This series could go on forever. But it seems like Jeff's background is that he was a performing musician and then pivoted to a digital marketing agency owner and then sold the company for multiple seven figures. Now, I think this is code for don't go with the lowest end of the seven figures, but not quite at the 8-figure mark, if that makes sense. I'll put a number on the screen when I figure out what I think that means. So he sold the company, and now he has this Entre like course platform. Because his whole thing is that apparently nobody has shown people how to make sales funnels. And it's like, have you just gone on YouTube and looked at any other marketing people and what they're... Everyone has made a sales funnel training. Well, except for me. Maybe I should just make one so I can be involved in the group. But yeah, like internet marketing skills are something that a lot of people are teaching on, and him acting like nobody's doing it and he's going to like start this thing and revolutionize things is hilarious. I'll link to the Dave Hollis interview where I heard about this guy in case you want to go listen to people who like to talk about themselves and not listen to other people talk to each other. It's real fun. Maybe I'll actually link to Keya's World's live stream where she listened to the podcast. That might be more fun to listen to for you because there'll be some commentary. But so since Jeff Lerner is a supposed digital marketing expert, right? I went to his YouTube channel because that's where he said he wanted people to go, to his YouTube channel. He said, if you have the attention span the size of a goldfish, go find him on Instagram. But we're the thinkers, right? So we're going to go follow him on YouTube because that's sort of what he implied in the podcast. And I found an Instagram playlist, okay, like an Instagram trainings. So this video that we're going to watch today is 15 minutes, and it's how to build an Instagram following from scratch. Okay, first off, let's do a background check. I'm guessing that this is going to be a stream because his title below, where it says Jeff Lerner, Entre Nation. I think it's Entre, or is it Entre? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I'm sure he'll say it. But the title looks like he's filming this in StreamYard. So I'm guessing this was a live stream. I pre-film my reaction videos in StreamYard just because I like the way that it does backgrounds and stuff better than Zoom. And I haven't learned how to do other things yet. But most people when they use StreamYard are streaming. So I'm guessing this is a previously live broadcast. And in his background, in case you're listening to this and not watching this, he has a Get Your Beep Done poster that, I don't know, I think it's supposed to be a graphic design thing, but it doesn't look very designy. And then he has 2 awards that are behind him. So he wants to sort of establish his authority here. I can't see what they are. Maybe somebody will recognize what they are and will leave a comment. And then he has a bookshelf to the side. So I'm guessing home office. He has a mounted microphone. I got to get one of those at some point. When I monetize the channel, I'll start putting money into it. But anyway, so he wants us to take him with this background, with the awards, with the microphone. He wants us to take him seriously. But he is wearing a tank top because he has to show that he's in shape, right? He has to show his muscles, even though we can only kind of see him from the chest up. So that is just my impressions. We'll see when he gets started if I am right here.
What's up, world? Jeff here. Today we are talking about...
I'm also 90% sure he's had a facelift. Not a doctor. I don't know this. I'm just saying, looks like he's trying to hold on to his youth. And I don't know, that always makes me sad for people. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he's just thin.
How to scale your Instagram, even if you ain't got no Instagram. And actually, I'm going to get some data I can use to illustrate this. That's probably not all we'll end up talking about, though, because inevitably we always get into some good craziness here.
Okay, here's what I don't understand. When you're going to do a live stream, you typically know you're going to do it. So ahead of my live streams, I try to have everything pulled up that I think I'm going to use. I have tabs pulled up in my second monitor in case I want to reference a website. I have collected photos ahead of time and uploaded them into the streaming software. You know, just a little preparation can go a long way. And honestly, if you go watch my live streams, I mean, I'm trying hard, but I don't often use even half of the stuff I've gathered. Because, like, I don't know, sometimes you're talking and something comes up and you end up kind of going in one direction or another. I just don't understand these people who've planned a live stream, why they couldn't have spent, I don't know, half an hour pulling themselves together, having the stuff in front of them so that it could be a nice, seamless experience for the people watching. So just putting that out there. Personal pet peeve of mine.
Appreciate everybody. I already see a bunch of people coming on Insta. I can't even keep up with all the names. Just appreciate everybody being here. If you're seeing this on Facebook, seeing this on YouTube, let me know. Yeah, I love a dialogue. I love to have conversations with people. What's up, Omaha, Nebraska? Appreciate you being here. So today we're talking about how to scale an Instagram channel from nothing. And like I said, we'll also get into some other goodness. So the current, I'm curious if anybody knows, do you know what the record for the fastest Instagram growth is? Anybody want to take a shot? I don't think anybody would guess.
So I have no idea, but I understand the technique he's doing right now is I'm the kind of person who just starts on time. And what I noticed is that about 5 minutes into my live stream, people are starting to join. And I think that there's something about kind of vamping a little bit ahead of time, gives people time to join without them missing any content. So starting off with this conversational thing is a good hook. By the way, I have no idea what the fastest growing Instagram account is. I'll be very curious about this.
This is not an intuitive answer. And thank you for the likes. Thank you for the love. Christian, what's up, brother? Yeah, let the world know. Listen, I'm going to ask. You never get what you don't ask for. Let the world know that we are doing good things here. We are actually trying to help people in the world by making the world a better place, by telling people what is possible for their lives and helping them figure out how to make it happen. Yeah, we got a bunch of people.
That's kind of vague. I didn't realize growing your Instagram made the world a better place. I don't know. I feel like people who are, I don't know, finding cures for diseases or helping children in the foster care system. I feel like there's a lot more jobs than marketing that are making the world a better place. I guess maybe he's talking about like, oh, I'm helping people make more money. And that helps people. Maybe that's what he's getting at, but I don't know. I could think of a lot more altruistic things than showing people how to make sales funnels.
Yes, and so the record for the fastest Instagram channel growth is currently held by Sir David Attenborough, the famed naturalist, who's the voice of like the National Geographic specials and everything. He's 95 years old. He's been doing it for 60 years. And he hit 1 million followers in 4 hours and 44 minutes. The second fastest was probably a name we would be more likely to guess, which is Jennifer Aniston, who hit 1 million followers in 5 hours and 16 minutes. And that was about a year ago.
Okay, so the fastest growing people are people who have been famous in other platforms. Okay. That kind of makes sense. I could see the National Geographic guy just because that has kind of a worldwide audience. And sort of the narration or whatever of the National Geographic specials are something that sort of we're all familiar with, or maybe a lot of us are familiar with?
I can claim no such rapid growth. I am at 27,000 followers, and I have been consistently posting for 2 years. So apparently, if you're not a famous naturalist and you're not a famous actress, it takes longer, takes more time.
Okay, so he said 25 or 26,000 in 2 years. I'm going to do a quick look up on Social Blade here. So I took a little reprieve here and I went and looked at his Social Blade stats. The reason I'm doing that is that, you know, I wanted to kind of check what his followers were generally doing. In particular, I think he's buying followers, and here's why. Number one, if he's selling himself as a social media expert, him having a lot of followers would sort of illustrate that he is one, right? But number two, I know that from the Dave Hollis podcast interview he did that he has a book coming out. I think it's in August or September. So right about now, he'll be making the podcast rounds, be sending people to Instagram and trying to get them obviously to maybe buy his book or pre-order his book or whatever. So I have a feeling now would be a good time for him to buy followers, because if he was just on Dave Hollis's podcast and it looks like his followers went up, that would seem natural, right? Okay, he did some press, he got some more followers. That would be a good time to buy them. But I think whatever he's doing is somewhat backfiring or just working weird. So first of all, he filmed this video that we're watching, obviously in the past. Right now, he has 75,000 followers on Instagram, 0.13% engagement. Yeah, kind of okay, but and he's lost 66,000 followers in the last 30 days. So think about the scenario that you would need to lose 66,000 people, but still have 75,000 people following you. Little suspect. And if we look at, I mean, I think this only goes back like 30 days. Again, I'll put these screenshots on the screen so that you can reference them. But he lost 11,000 followers in one day on April 13th. He lost 9,000 on April 12th. So I'm just saying he's like overall net loss here. And if we look at his follower trends over time, so this graph goes back to 2019, see how it's relatively steady for like most of that time. So this represents, like, for example, I'll just grab a sample month. November 2019, he has 297 additional followers. So like, right, this growth looks pretty organic. The only reason the line looks flat is that if we look at the y-axis, we see that one of those little tick marks is 50,000 followers, right? If we look at my graph, by the way, I think that same tick mark is like 500 followers. But anyway, so point being is if we made the top of the graph like 50,000 or something and just made that the highest, this wouldn't look like a straight line. It would look like slow organic growth, right? And what we see, though, is these times where it's increased a lot and then decreased a lot, increased a lot and then decreased a lot. So to me, if I did something really cool and I went viral and 10,000 people followed me or whatever, right? For example, I would expect that, yeah, maybe some of those people would drop off within a couple of months, but not all of them. And yeah, I don't know. This follow behavior to me is really strange. And it looks like the kind of account that would be buying followers and people like catching on that he's kind of a D-bag and then leaving. I don't know. I'll be curious what his actual tips are, but I just wanted to give you that context of this guy's Instagram account because he's doing an Instagram training with us. And it's important to know how he runs his own account. But let's continue.
But the reality is 27,000 followers I'm happy with, and it's growing really fast now. So let's talk about it then. Like, you know, this is a nice thing for me to talk about because like I did it. I went through the grind of trying to put out constructive, value-driven beneficial content to the world when nobody was watching, nobody was listening, nobody cared. And it was, I mean,
All right. All right. What I'm going to do, because I can't figure out how to do this efficiently, I'm going to scroll his Instagram while I talk to you now. This is the content that he thinks is really valuable. By the way, why is it that all these like Instagram dudes are into black and orange or black and yellow? And obviously black, white, and either orange or black, white, and yellow or black, white, and red. Like, is there some like dude color palette generator out there that I don't know about? So I just don't get like the tremendous value this guy is bringing through Instagram. I genuinely don't. Although maybe you're watching this video and thinking the same thing about me. So let's continue.
So you could say in a nutshell, all it took was the ability to keep talking, to keep going, even when nobody was paying attention. And then from there, you just work on getting better and better and better and leveling up.
And buy some followers.
And this is eventually what happens. You reach this tipping point. So this is the insights from my Instagram channel. Look at the growth. Look at the growth curve.
Oh my God, why not just take a screenshot of it and have it ready to reference in StreamYard so people can actually see it?
Yesterday, net, I'll show this on Facebook and YouTube.
Yesterday net. Okay. It's blurry. I can't read it, which probably is the point.
And then I'll show this up here on Instagram. So yesterday I had a net gain of 1,600 in one day. And yeah, Jeff, to your point, I've gone from like almost 20K to 27K followers in just a few weeks. So, but I spent a year.
How did you get from 20 to 27 in a few weeks, Jeff?
Trying to get to 3,000. And that year, even then, I was trying to shortcut and cheapen the process by paying a service to help me get followers. And all they did was end up setting me back and screwing me up. So the reality is I probably could have, hit the tipping point faster. But this isn't really a session about my Instagram growth now. This is a session about what it takes. And by the way, what it took for David Attenborough 60 years ago to decide that he was going to be a naturalist, that he was going to start trying to go out to the world and help people discover and fall in love with the natural world, which 60 years ago in 1960, that was not a big thing. Like the environmental movement wasn't a big thing. And
it wasn't? I mean, I feel like people in the 60s were talking about environmental stuff. I don't know. This also seems random.
And then even Jennifer Aniston, it's easy to go, oh, she got 1 million followers in 5 hours. She was just an undiscovered little actress, wannabe actress hanging out.
Yeah, but these people were undiscovered when their Instagram audiences got over 1 million. Like, this is a complete non sequitur.
In LA, went to a casting call for a show called Friends. Like, that's the stuff that, it doesn't get a lot of airtime, doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's the difference between the people that we see that have the life that we think we want and us if we don't have the life that we think we want. It's all the grind.
As usual, we're a third of the way through the training, and all we've learned is the 2 fastest growing accounts in Instagram history, that he got an extra 7,000 followers in the last few weeks. But for a while, he was posting all the time and not getting anything. This is all of we've learned so far. And this is supposedly a training about building Instagram from scratch. Jennifer Aniston did not. She might have started an Instagram account, but she has a reputation from being on television and in movies. So she wasn't really starting from scratch. She's not like your cousin or your aunt or somebody, just a normal person that we're talking about.
Find time in obscurity, in anonymity, in frustration, in perhaps even criticism, an era of criticism, and an atmosphere of people trying to tear us down or tell us we're.
I thought we were here to build our Instagram account. Why is me not having fast growth on Instagram people trying to tear me down? It isn't. This is not the point.
We're not good enough, or tell us we're not going to live out our dreams. And you know, now it's worse because when you start something, you have to push through all this hate online. I mean, theoretically.
And we're talking about haters. Here's the thing. And maybe it's because I'm not successful. Maybe I might have a few haters if I was successful, but oh my God. And now the haters. How boring is it to talk about haters? My God.
I assume when David Attenborough, I don't know his story, but when he started.
Yeah, David Attenborough probably doesn't have a lot of haters. He is not scamming people out of money. He's not flashing his lifestyle. Like, yeah, he probably doesn't have, hopefully he hasn't said or done anything misogynistic or racist or whatever. But like, you know, some people, they're just popular. Mr. Rogers, Dolly Parton. These are all people who I'm sure might have a hater or two, but in general are well-liked. You can be popular and well-liked. If you're constantly dealing with haters, you have to ask yourself why that is.
As a naturalist, he might have had a bunch of people telling him, who the hell cares? I don't want to see pictures of it. I don't want to see shows of animals. Play the newest Marilyn Monroe movie or whatever. Like, you have to push through. And my invitation is to everyone watching this to like do the work, because what's so valuable about the work isn't the outcome. The outcome is actually the last thing. And
So you're saying you didn't want to grow your Instagram following for any reason other than to like be talking and reaching more people. Come on. You want 1 million Instagram followers so that you can sell them some crap. Admit it.
You can't be rewarded now by something that's not going to happen until then. If I was obsessed only with having 1 million Instagram followers,
he's totally obsessed and he's never going to get there.
Then there'd be nothing rewarding yet about what I'm doing because it hasn't happened yet.
It's rewarding because if you can even sell some of those people who watch you a course or whatever, then you make enough money to keep living your lifestyle. That's rewarding.
Now, I am going to have that and I'm going to keep doing the work, but you've got to
you got to not care. Also, I'm going to have that someday. These people talk out of both sides of their mouth.
Love what's happening to you every second of the journey. You know, I'll come back to that, but you've just got to fall in love with who you're becoming. Every little thing that you push yourself to do is changing you in some small way that's going to show up later and pay some sort of dividend. And the harder and more frustrating and less rewarding that thing is immediately and superficially, the more valuable and developmentally essential it's going to be for you in the long run. I just don't know a better way to say it. And living in the world that we live in and getting the messages that I get and having the view that I have, I see so many people that are trying to make success easier.
Yeah, you're trying to make success easier. What are you talking about? You're one of those people.
Instead of just learning to love how damn hard it is. Like, there's a sickness that you can contract on purpose in your mind where you can actually convince yourself and eventually come to believe and eventually come to truly love just how flippin' hard it is.
So you love how hard it is to get to 1 million followers, or do you want to already be there? We're not going to learn anything in this training. I should have called it at the beginning. I sort of thought that, but I don't know if this guy's even going to talk about Instagram, honestly.
And if we could do anything for the world, it would be fall in love with doing really hard stuff. So how do you do that? How do you fall in love with doing really hard stuff? Look, I'm not some super authority about every person's life or the total human condition. I can simply share for myself. I have had to teach myself to learn to do really, really hard stuff, because 2 years ago, I had a mission, which was, I know how rewarding financially and in terms of lifestyle,
Financially and
building
lifestyle.
a business can be in the modern.
See, he didn't get into internet marketing because he was passionate about it. He got into it for the money and the lifestyle. Okay. And you can rewind this 30 seconds and listen to that. But, and this is going to sound stupid, I started marketing because I liked talking with businesses about how their businesses worked and helping them communicate with the world. I genuinely like marketing. If I sold my marketing company, there's a few things that I would do. I thought of being like a therapist or a financial planner or an interior designer. Like, there are certain jobs that sound really interesting to me, but like, I love marketing and that's why I'm doing it. And he wants you to fall in love with the process, but he really enjoyed running a business because of the money and the lifestyle. So just notice how he wants something different for you than he has for himself.
World, when you really embrace that can be. I did it for 10 years and it changed my life. It changed everything.
By the way, him pausing, I don't quite know why that is, because I'm actually corded in to my internet. But a lot of these gurus don't bother using Ethernet to connect to the internet when they go live. So I'm wondering if the little blurps there where his connection pauses are on his end or on my, I can't say that they're definitely on his end, but if you do want a continuous connection, get an Ethernet cord.
Everything about my life. But 2 years ago, I was like, it's not enough for me to know this. I know it. I've learned it. I've lived it. I love it. I have a great life because of it, but it's not enough for me to know. What needs to happen now is to share it with the world. The whole world, if I have my way, the whole world is going to know what's possible in the modern world. You know, I believe, I have it printed on my desk. I believe in a world, I have it on my vision statement right here, a world where an awesome life is achievable for anyone committed to excellence. I'll answer that question about the plaques. I appreciate the question. But that's my belief in this world. An awesome life is achievable for anyone committed to excellence. And then to foment and help people develop excellence, I said, I'm going to use entrepreneurial education because it can work twofold. It can actually teach people the skills that they need to go execute in order to create the business results that's going to get them the fuel for the life they want, like the resources and the money, right? But also, it's a context in which I can actually teach and guide and share passion, if nothing else, hopefully more than that, about excellence itself as an end.
So the background that I didn't give you about this guy when we started, and I wasn't sure how relevant it was going to be, but part of his interview was that he dropped out of high school to become a pianist. So he didn't finish high school or college. So what I love about these gurus is that they hate education, but they want to teach you. Now, in my experience, the people who are the best teachers are people who like to learn. The people who are the best writers liked to read. You see how the reciprocal happens? People like him don't think they can learn anything from anybody else. They are just teaching from their own experience. And for that reason, I feel like you could just enroll in a MOOC about internet marketing, or you could audit a course at an accredited university. You do not need people like this guy to teach you anything, because he does not learn from other people. He probably isn't great at teaching other people either. And if this training is an example of how he teaches, I'm not sure you're going to learn anything. This is supposed to be an Instagram training about how to get more followers. I have a training on Instagram about how I grew followers. I'll link it below in case you want to watch what I think is an actually useful training.
as a mandatory for an awesome life. I believe they're two sides of the same coin. And so it just created this little link. Like, I'm going to use entrepreneurial education. The mission is empowering people to achieve physical, personal, and professional excellence through entrepreneurial education.
Okay, so please appreciate that the microphone, I think, is connected to the computer, which is running StreamYard. So this is probably going to like Facebook, maybe YouTube, right? And then I think he has a camera that is mounted, probably maybe even a cell phone that is mounted above his webcam where he's streaming to Instagram. So I'm wondering what the sound quality is like for them, because I find it's a little bit echoey, even with his really nice microphone. I'm not saying that, listen, I don't have a super fancy setup here. I get it. We've got a Main Street situation on one side of my desk, and I'm using a $75 microphone. So I don't really have a super fancy setup myself, but I feel like my sound is better. Maybe too, I have like rugs and some other soft things that is like making it less echoey. Just curious what you guys think of the sound as we keep listening to nothing.
So I'm going to teach entrepreneurial education as a way to stoke the flames of excellence, because I choose to believe in a world where if people commit to excellence, they can have an awesome life.
So do we think people aren't running businesses because they're not committed to excellence, or they don't believe in entrepreneurship? Or are they not running businesses because they need to hold down the real job for benefits, or they need the regular paycheck because they have a family to support? I mean, there's this whole like where people would have businesses if we educated them about businesses. I feel like people are pretty aware of self-employment as an option. And I think during the pandemic, a lot of people did become self-employed because of the economic reality that we're in. But like, is educating people about the option of entrepreneurship really what they need? That's what I wonder.
This little chain in my mind that made sense. Entrepreneurial education, promote excellence, awesome life potential for everyone. But to take that,
I think there's a few steps in between there that he's glossing over, because they are individual and probably something he wouldn't be able to teach anyway.
Message out to the world as a unknown little guy like me, I have had to go through what could be described as like the fires of hell, based on the amount of criticism and negative feedback and hate and
so what I don't understand is, in the podcast with Dave, he mentioned having 11 failed businesses, and here he's saying he's had to work through a lot about hate and whatever. And I'm thinking, like, gee, I mean, it's one thing if people don't like you, but it's another thing if you have, like, I don't know, some business failures. He also seemed to know a lot about bankruptcy. So I'm wondering how many times he's declared bankruptcy as a person. I'm not going to look into it, but just something I wonder about. And his biggest problem wasn't 11 failing businesses and the sort of financial ruin that would create for most people. And it's the fact that people don't like him. Like, that's his actual problem.
Fear and insecurity and doubt and everything that I've had to overcome.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about your failing businesses or your failed businesses as something you overcame here? I think that could be relatable for some people. Because, right, don't 7 out of 10 businesses fail? Like, that would be a lot more relatable than having a lot of haters. I don't think most of us have a lot of haters. As I've said in previous broadcasts, I don't think most people think about me very often, which is why, like, when I am talking to someone and they said, oh, we were talking about you the other day, I'm always like kind of surprised. I feel like if I'm not in the room, nobody's talking about me.
In order to get to this point now. And now at this point, it's like, yeah, there's momentum and there's validation and there's daily rewards and there's money and there's all this stuff that makes it a lot easier. But it was so hard. And I'm not saying that because I expect any sympathy or commiseration, because it's not something to commiserate about, because the fact that it was so hard through the process and through the training and through the realizations of what that really means has become what made it so great. It wouldn't have been great if it wasn't so hard.
I feel like these kind of people are the same kind of people that want you to suffer like they did. They're the kind of people who, I don't know, maybe you work in a corporate environment. They're the older people who are like, well, I had to work through the ranks and you should too. When really, like, you've gone and gotten an advanced degree or have some some work experience from somewhere else that makes it so that you would theoretically be able to surpass them in the workplace. They're the same people who think, oh, I had to bust my ass to make enough money to go to college. And, you know, they are successful and they make their kids have a job to pay for their own college. Like, the fact that it has to be as hard for other people as it was for you, I genuinely don't understand that. I hope everyone who comes after me has it easier. Honestly, and anybody who doesn't think that, I genuinely don't understand why you would want other people to suffer in any way. And suffering doesn't make something better. So don't listen to this guy. Not that you are, probably.
And by the way, on the flip side, you know, they say nothing worthwhile is easy. That means nothing easy is worthwhile, right? If A does not equal B, B does not equal A. If worthwhile does not equal easy, then easy does not equal worthwhile.
God, this stuff is so toxic. Listen, you deserve to have parts of your life that are easy, and it doesn't mean that they're not worthwhile. This kind of talk keeps people in crappy relationships or crappy situations in general because they think, oh, I'm working hard, so it must be worthwhile. As someone who has been in the dating world for 20 years, I've had easy relationships and I've had hard relationships. And my sample size of one tells me that my harder relationships that I worked hard at were not more worthwhile. And I think people watching will probably agree with that. You don't have to struggle. There's nothing wrong with working hard and there's nothing wrong with challenging yourself. But like feeling like you need to struggle for it to be worthwhile is toxic.
Which means if it hadn't been so hard, it wouldn't have been great. If it hadn't been great, it wouldn't have been so hard. It's, by the way, and you know what? It never stops. Check out the comments on my Instagram live right now. I've got a fuck you and I've got a shut up. And then
yeah, it's because you're saying toxic stuff. That's why people are saying that to you. They're trying to like get your attention because what you're saying is not helpful.
I've got another yeah, fuck you from people I don't know. I've never met you. Here's the thing. Fuck me. Love on you. I love you because I see what's possible for your life. I see that it's possible for you to reach.
So you think you know what's better for someone else's life than they do. Got it.
A place where you've experienced the good things in this world through a commitment to excellence.
I'm committed to excellence. I've experienced good things. Fuck you, Jeff.
To cultivate a life and to change your environment in such a way that you won't want to come up to a stranger and say, fuck you.
I only want to say it to people who I think have a platform and potentially impressionable people listening in. That's the only reason I want to say it. If you're just a random person on the street and you don't have 75,000 people listening to you talk, I don't really care what you say. It's when you have a platform that I have a problem with it.
You'll want to come up to a stranger and say, love on you, man. What are you doing? Tell me about that. I support you. I wish you the best with it. This perspective, this attitude, it's not a function of people being bad. Somebody just said, you're gay. That's not even an insult. I don't happen to be a homosexual, but it's not an insult if I was.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's out of line. I mean, honestly, probably FU is out of line too. I was probably a little out of line earlier, but there's nothing wrong with someone calling you out on having some toxic beliefs. Okay.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I know it's a fair question. Why are they watching? Here's the thing. It's not because
maybe they're watching because the title of this video is how to build an Instagram following from scratch. And you literally have talked about nothing related to that. Maybe that's why they're watching.
People are bad. It's not because people have a dark heart or a damaged soul. I don't believe that about you, about the negative people. What I believe is that you haven't experienced the relationship between doing really intense hard work and forging a result in your life that sets you apart from the fray.
You act like you got here because of hard work. Let's acknowledge that mom and dad paid for you to go on a wilderness adventure. They financed your life for 2 years or several years when you quit high school. Like, talk about growing on Instagram. That's what we're all here for.
that sets you apart from the common average experience of this world, which is always going to be kind of blah, kind of meh. And
the common average experience. What's wrong with just having a normal life? What is it with these people who are like, you have to work hard and be set apart? I know plenty of people who work really hard who are not set apart from other people. I know plenty of people who haven't worked very hard at all and have a lot of money. So it's not like your formula is foolproof here.
Because you've never experienced that, you're stuck in a perspective that thinks those things don't exist. I promise, if you go out and do a really hard thing, go right now. If you're on this, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, go run a mile. Go outside right now and run a mile as fast as you can.
I love that a lot of gurus, when they give you something hard to do, you know, like the 75 hard challenge or whatever, a lot of it is physical fitness related. And I'm not quite sure whether that's because they feel like that's something everybody can do versus telling everyone to go get a master's degree or telling everyone to go read a book a day for a year or something like that. I don't know if it's because it feels more doable, or is it because it would make people conventionally more attractive? I'm not quite sure what this like sort of like mindset and physical fitness is. I know that mens sana de corpore sana, that's something my physics teacher always said. He was always, sound mind is in a sound body. But a sound body could be just me walking my dog for half an hour every morning. Why does it have to be running a mile as fast as I can? Why does it have to be hard? Why can't it just be a part of my life?
Simply because it's hard. In any given moment, we can all choose to do a really hard thing. We can go run a mile as fast as we can. You'll be exhausted. You'll be wiped out. Halfway through it, you'll be telling yourself, I can't keep doing this. I can't maintain this. It's too hard. It's going to kill me. By the way, it's not. The 40% rule teaches us that when our body triggers a response, it says, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep this up. That you're actually only 40% of your capacity. You go do that and then experience the way you feel after, and you will have experienced the relationship between doing hard things and producing a feeling of satisfaction. And the next time you see somebody who's doing a hard thing, you won't want to tear them down. You'll appreciate.
Is you getting on a live stream a hard thing? Like, I'm recording this video right now. It's not hard. I'm wearing my pajama bottoms and slippers. I am drinking delicious coffee in my house. Like, this isn't hard. Yeah, like the physical thing you're saying might be hard, but like going live and being vulnerable, like this isn't hard, dude.
Appreciate it. And you'll value it and you'll go, I want more of that experience in my life. I just realized, by the way.
Also, I will say, if you have not tried it before and you enjoy running, the shower beer after the run. This is something that one of my friends in college taught me. Is you like take a hot shower and you've got a cold beer in the shower, like on the little shelf with you, and your muscles just relax. It's lovely. It's one of my favorite parts of the summer workout experience.
It's 4:30 my time, and I totally spaced until I just got my reminder. I'm supposed to be on a podcast right now. World, I'll catch you next time. I got to go.
So I know that we usually learn very little from these guru trainings, but we learned even less with this one. I'm not even going to do takeaways. I'm just going to say them verbally. Work hard. Enjoy working hard. Keep going. That's how you grow your Instagram, everyone. Now, the lessons he didn't teach you are about buying followers and going on other people's platforms to promote your stuff, which is what he did with Dave Hollis. Now, since you have wasted the last little while with me here, I thought I would give you some actual tactics to grow your Instagram account if you want to. Now, you're going to be less impressed with me than you are with Jeff here, I'm sure. But if we compare our graphs of followers, which I'll put on the screen now, you'll see that at least I've had slow and steady growth over time, which shows that I am consistent and doing things in a sustainable way. and not buying any followers. So here are my five little tips that you can use to increase your Instagram following. Number one, leaving comments on other Instagram accounts. You can use an app like $80, which is Gary Vee's product. The free version lets you leave up to 10 comments a day. The paid version lets you leave 90. I don't want to leave 90 comments a day. I could barely find 10 relevant ones. But when I was doing it, I did increase my followers. I'll include the 2 live streams I did about that in the show notes in case you want to watch those and kind of learn more about how it works. But leaving comments on other Instagram accounts, especially if they're clever or relevant, will get you some more followers because you get in front of more people. Number 2, use hashtags. So hashtags, basically, if you think about Instagram, if you're searching for something, it's not like someone is sitting at Instagram and saying, oh, this is a picture of a cat, and then is cataloging it as a cat and whatever. So hashtags let Instagram be searchable. So if you use hashtags when you post something, it means that your post can come up in search. You can use a site like hashtagify.com. I'll link it below. I don't quite know how to pronounce it. You know when you've only ever seen something written? You can use sites like that to find relevant hashtags, see how they're trending over time, and use things that are obviously popular and relevant and not use ones that are on the decline. I would say number 3 is posting on Instagram regularly. So I'm not sure whether Instagram Reels, IGTV, or in-feed posts are going to work the best for you. So what I would do is I would do 2 of each a week for like a month and just see kind of which things seem to be more popular. You might find that your reels are getting more views, but they're not translating into followers. You might find that your in-feed posts get a lot of comments, but that your IGTV is what gets a lot of engagement. I don't know. So I would say do 2 reels, 2 in-feed posts, and 2 IGTVs a week for a month and look at your stats and see how it's going. Hopefully that won't take too much time. You don't have to go live on Instagram for like an hour or anything. You could just go live for a little bit. I've done them for like 10 or 15 minutes and it's been fine. Number 4, I would find accounts that you want to collaborate with and do something together. It could be a social media takeover. It could be a cross promotion, but just something where you're getting in front of their audience and they're getting in front of yours. So it's mutually beneficial. I know you want to approach someone who has like 2 million followers and you have 200, but think of approaching someone with a similar amount of audience. That way the relationship, is kind of equal. And it doesn't have to be the exact same number, but like, if you have 500 and approach someone with 700, that's going to be more likely to be a yes than you with 500 approaching someone with 5 million, right? You're not there yet. It's okay. And number 5, you need to promote your Instagram other places online, especially if you're a small business. Like, I'm not necessarily expecting the local businesses in my town to actually be active on Instagram. But if you tell people like on your Facebook page and your email newsletter, if you highlight a bunch of ways that you're active on Instagram, the people around you will say, oh, well, they already know you. They just don't know you're on Instagram, and they'll know to go look for you because you actually update your stuff. So as you see, I can cover 5 useful Instagram tips in less than 5 minutes. And this guy took 15 minutes to tell us basically to work harder. And my last little PSA here is if you're ever trying to decide who to listen to, someone like Jeff Lerner looks like he's someone you should listen to, right? Because he has a lot of Instagram followers. And someone like me looks like somebody you shouldn't listen to because I don't have a lot of Instagram followers. But in watching this video, maybe you're realizing that I might know more about Instagram and Instagram growth than Jeff Lerner does. Here's how you can figure out who to listen to. And to me, these 2 things signal that someone is just a grifter looking to sell you something versus someone who is actually trying to teach about social media. And you know what? Yeah, I'm here to sell you something. You can hire me to do your social media or your marketing in general for you. I'm totally for hire, but I'm not pushing these 2 things. Ready? I'm not making any kind of income claims. Okay. And I'm not pushing my lifestyle. To me, if somebody does either of those 2 things, there's somebody that you should take a pause before you actually listen to. Because chances are the thing that they're talking about, whether it's an Amazon reseller program or whether it's narrating audiobooks or whether it's growing a digital marketing agency, they didn't get into it because they loved reading books themselves. They didn't get into it because they like marketing. They got into their respective line of work because they wanted to make a lot of money and they wanted to show it off so that they could use that to make more money. So that's all I got. If you have any people that you want me to react to, gurus, or specific videos, please leave them in the comment section of this video. Or if you're more shy, you can also contact me through the contact form on my website. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day and see you next time. Take care.